Hey there, it's Debbie from My Vagabond Style, and I'm here today to bring you something a little different than what I normally do. In fact, I've only done watercolors a couple of times ever. So this is absolutely not a tutorial. I'm just sharing with you what I learned in a class, and if you'd like to give it a try, I think you should. It's really a lot of fun. So I have these ostrich pictures here, and um, the class that I took, I did this one here, and this is what he turned out to be. I just think he's adorable, and it was so much fun. So then I sat down, and it's been several weeks since I took the watercolor class, and then I wanted to do this one. So I did this one this morning, and yeah, he's pretty funny. But I just think there's something so endearing about them. I really like them. So with that, I'll show you kind of, the steps that I was taught to do. So with this picture, I'm going to redo him again, and it's going to be interesting to see how different the one I did this morning and what we come up with today. So what you do is you get any photo that you want. It doesn't have to be an ostrich. It can be whatever you want. Take a little sip of coffee here. And then you trace basically the outline of it and a few of the impressions that kind of come through. I wanted his mouth, and this is actually something they gave me at the class. I have another one that I'm going to be doing later on, and I think this is called like a shoebill duck or something like that. I really want to do him. I think he's so cool, and I'll make the feathers on him like I did on the other one. So I'll tell you the supplies I have. So I've got this, and then I traced, well, the class, they gave us this, but you would trace that out. And then I've got just some cheap paper that I got at the Dollar Tree, $3 for this big 24 sheet. They're pretty nice. I know that a lot of people swear by the real expensive paper, but I'm just doing this for fun. I really didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on the watercolor paper, so this is what I'll be using today. And then I have, let me show you the rest of the supplies. I just have a few round brushes, and this one's the kind that has the water in the end of it. You don't have to have one of these, just a regular one is fine. A pencil, and then I have like a black fine tip Sharpie, and then this is for the eyes. It's just a white gel pen. If you didn't have a white gel pen, you could just use a little bit of white paint. So, and then I have just this simple, I got this at a estate sale years ago. Just a simple set, not many colors. I'm going to be mixing some colors. And that is, oh, and then to get those feathers, a straw. A bent one is the best, but you can use a regular straw. That's to get these to go out of the lines there. Okay, now we've got all the supplies. I do have a little bit of extra washi tape here because what you're going to do is, let me get my watercolor sheet out. And then you tape this where you want it. I'm going to do it on the back. And then I hold it against the window so I can see through it. So then what I'll do is I'll put a little tape here and here and up here. And I will go to the window and trace this out. So I'll be right back. I went ahead and I'm going to move this in tighter for this. It's just so you can see that a little better. And let me take the paper off. Okay, so that was behind him. And now he is ready for the watercolor. I can already tell that he's a little different than the first one. And you can decide whatever kind of color you want to use. Get him in here a little better. Like I said, I am very new to watercolor, so I'm sure I'm doing lots of things wrong. Don't email me. Just I'm having a good time with it. It's something different. I don't have any rules really. So when I did take the class, the gal said to do the lighter color first. So when I did this one, I started with the yellow on his beak and then went to the orange. You can do his beak whatever color you want. The last one that I did him with a kind of pink beak with a little red on the tip. Looks like maybe it's a she, right? Let me see what I'm going to do here. It worked better when she told us to kind of wet the area here before you put the color on. So again, there's a little color on that one. So let me get that off there. Just dip it in some water, wipe the brush off. And then I'm just getting some water in this area here. And then when you put the watercolor in, it kind of follows that wherever you wet it. So we're going to do all of this, including this weird spot right here. And I think I'll do that one again in yellow. I wet these earlier, but they kind of started to dry. Now I made it green. I think I need to find a free spot here on my palette. There we go. All right, so let me just get down some of this. I kind of feel like it was a little more forgiving than I thought it was going to be. When you go over it with the black pin on the end, on the final portion of it, it kind of really does pull everything together, because up until then, you won't probably like what you see. Just warning you if you've never done it. Okay, so we've got some yellow there. And then I have to let this dry completely. Don't fuss with it, because otherwise, if I go ahead and put like the orange down now, it would just bleed. So it's got to be completely dry. So we'll let that sit, and I can move on to another color. Let's do, for the top of his head, let's do purple. That might be fun. I'm going to go ahead and wet this on the top. I'm going to keep speeding this up, but I just wanted to pop in and say that I'm just trying to be real careful here not to go into the yellow. I feel like it's dry, but I just was a little hesitant because it felt maybe it might be a little bit damp. And even a little bit, if I get that purple in it, it will just take off into the yellow and the orange. So I'm just being a little careful as I go around the edge here. And I'm always like amazed when I'm looking at like the last couple that I did in this stage. Like I feel like it's so ugly that I think I almost want to quit at this point. Like I but the only thing that's keeping me going is I know when I get down to the point where I'm putting the fine tip Sharpie in there, that he'll just come to life. So I'm just trying to be patient and go through the whole process here before I pull the plug on him. So I hope you enjoy the music. Right here, I'm just touching the paper to see if it's cool to the touch, because if it is, then I know that the paint's still a little wet. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and kind of pool up some of the paint, and I'm gonna get the straw and start blowing in the direction that I want the feathers to go. It takes a little getting used to. Some of them, I still don't have the whole technique down pat, but it's not real hard. It's just getting the right consistency, the right amount of paint down, and then you know how hard you want to blow through the straw. And then sometimes the paint doesn't really want to go in the direction you want it to when you do those feathers. So if you take a little bit of water on the tip of a clean brush and brush upwards, you'll kind of make a path for the paint to go. And when I did that, it seemed to be a little bit easier. So right here, I'm just putting a little water down to try and draw it in the direction that I want the feathers to go. So the feathers are gonna take a little bit of practice. Like, I wish when I did the first one, I would have practiced on another sheet. Like, just do some testing and see, how it goes for you, how, you pull it up and blow through that straw, see, how hard you blow, how far those will go, and practice putting down the wet lines to entice the flow of the feathers. So that's what I would suggest anyway. So when I first started doing the feathers, I wanted to do it in real time, but now that you kind of see how I'm doing it, I'm going to go ahead and speed it up for time. Okay, so I've edited this and now some time's gone by and pretty much it's dry. I'm using these Lumi Art. They're watercolor. I got them, I think, at a yard sale years ago. It's Luminarte, and this is rose gold. And I'm just going to go around his eye, and they have a little bit of shimmer to them. So I thought that might be kind of fun. And yeah, it's definitely like a rose color, which in the picture, the actual picture of the ostrich, it did look like he kind of had pink around his eye. So I think that'll work out nicely. And now I'm just going to work on his eyes, which eyes are super important. You definitely make the character with the eyes. So I did brown for the background, and now I'm just kind of doing a circle and filling it in with the black. So still at this point, I feel like he's my ugly duckling. Um, I'm hoping he's going to turn out. I'm still kind of borderline thinking maybe not. Yeah, the detailing is going to really change his look. And here is the detail part. So I think I'll stop the voiceover and actually just kind of do this with you. I've got just a regular thin Sharpie pen, fine, it says fine. And so now I'm just gonna kind of take this. I have my reference here and I've got the original. I think for this, I'm actually gonna look more at the original than I am at that traced part. So I've just made sure everything's dry real well. And now I will try to go over this with the Sharpie. So now I'm going to use my little um, white pen here, the gel pen, and I'm just going to put some little specks in his eyes. That seems to like bring a life to him here. So get this going. I think it's going. There we go. And just put a couple little white specks in there. I like to put one big one and then one small one. And then same thing on this eye here. We'll just put it about there, just like the light has caught their eye. So, you know what? I think I'm going to call him done. So I know that I am not a watercolor artist. I'm not trying to tell you guys how to watercolor because I really have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just playing around, having a good time. You know what? It didn't cost hardly anything to give it a try to see if I like doing this. And I do think I'm going to try that another bird. Let me know if you like this content. So thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate it. And thank you for coming back. So I will catch you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.